Hey there, everybody. Let me set up a few things real quick. I'm gonna set up a little bit of music here and kind of turn it down some. Okay. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me good. Let me see if that music is coming through. I think it is, but let's double check. Good. Let me see if that music is coming. No, I need to turn it up a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. Let's test the mic. Ow. All right, perfect. You guys can hear me. Okay, so guys, I can't believe it, man. The Requiem is literally tomorrow. Actually, tonight for a lot of people. People who can get it, digitally and changing their countries and everything, and good for them. But I got physical. I got the Nintendo Switch 2 version, which I got Resident Evil 7 and 8 also in that pack. So amazing deal. And also, I got the Requiem controller, which should be here tomorrow. So I am so excited for that. And I am going to be streaming tomorrow. GameStop opens around 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time, and I should be home around 10:30 Central Standard Time because of just distance. However long it takes to download, I don't know, but hopefully pretty quick. And then, of course, we'll go from there. But I'm going to stream it as soon as I can after everything is downloaded. I am also going to be getting tonight after midnight or in the morning whenever I wake up, whichever. I'm going to be getting the DLC content, but I got my Nintendo Switch over here. I have everything set up, so tomorrow I'll be good just to plug everything in and good to go. Anyways, let's go ahead and crack open a beer real quick with you guys. Cheers. And man, like we've been waiting so long for this game, and I am just so happy. I'm very excited. So there's a few things I want to go over tonight, guys. And let me bring up the comment section also. Let's okay. So make sure we're good. All right. So there are a few things I want to go over. Again, I have a lot of things written down here on a piece of paper. Let's see. Okay. This, by the way, is obviously spoiler free. This is just my speculation, and that's it. So let's hope that that maybe I'm right. We'll see. So the returning locations. I'm not saying all these are going to show up, but these are more or less my wish list. So for my top 5, the 5th one will be Raccoon City Streets. I know it's kind of generic, but considering that we didn't really get to explore much of Raccoon City and 2, and especially 3 remake, I would love to get to see more of the city streets, see more of the carnage, the wreckage, see maybe some dead skeletons everywhere. I really want to be able to see the city streets and maybe even get to see some from the classic games that we did not get to see in the remakes. Let's see. No, I still cannot get your name right, buddy. Narcissus Perez. I'm gonna start calling you Perez. The only thing I most wanted in Resident Evil 9 is Ada Wong to be in the game. Have a good night. Well, let's hope that she is. Let's hope she's in the game. If not, though, oh well. But let's hope she is. But the 4th location, I want to see Kendo Gun Shop, which I would be extremely surprised if we don't see Kendo Gun Shop. Considering that the gun shop was literally right there behind the RPD. We're obviously going to the RPD. If we go down to Nest, we're going to be passing right by it anyways, I'm sure. So I would love to get to see the Kendo Gun Shop. How haunting and disturbing would it be to see Kendo's body and his little girl's body? That would be so sad. And I hope we do get to see that, because that would be just, man, that'd be messed up. But it would definitely add more emotional weight to the situation, The 3rd one, and this one is unlikely. The top 3 are probably not going to happen at all. But again, this is more so my wish list. I would love to see Jay's Bar. So Jay's Bar is in the Resident Evil Outbreak games, actually the very first scenario. In my opinion, the best scenario of that game. And since we're seeing Alyssa from Outbreak come back, how awesome would it be to get to see Jay's Bar, another throwback to Outbreak, and also the beginning of the Raccoon City outbreak in general, because that was the beginning of it. That's the night it all began. And I think that would be just an honor to have that in there, considering that is canonically the first time we see the series, or I'm sorry, not the series, but we see the city be overran by zombies. The second one is the clock tower from the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Such a shame that we did not get to see that in Resident Evil 3 remake, among other things. And I really hope that if we do get to go there, it's not just a freaking parking lot, you know, like in the remake. Like, it would be so cool to get to go inside and explore. But again, I highly doubt we're going to be able to do that. But I would love that so much. So much if we got to. Also, let me turn this music down a little bit. This is a little bit louder than the last track. Okay. Hopefully that's good. Anyways. Let me make sure that is, because again, this is a louder track. So I just want to make sure you guys can still hear my voice pretty good, because that's a bit loud. Make sure. Okay, you guys can still hear me good. That's great. Perez says, what do you think happened to his brother Joseph? Maybe he's going to be in the game. Joseph is still alive, from what I gather. Joseph is the one who's still running the gun shop, and that's how Leon Resident Evil 4 Remake got his SG09, the Silver Ghost. It was from Joseph, and there's also a book in Resident Evil 7 from Joseph. I doubt he will appear, of course, but maybe we'll get to see his business somewhere, you know, in Rinwood. You know, that'd be a really cool throwback. There's the number one spot, and this one is extremely unlikely, but I would love it if we got a DLC or something, but again, I highly doubt this. The Spencer Mansion. So, fun fact, there was, I think, a canceled game or something like that where we were going to see the ruins of the Spencer Mansion, and it would be perfect to get to see that. I doubt it, again, but, you know, even if we got to see just a cutscene of it or something, I would be okay with that, but I highly doubt it. But I would love to get to see a ruined Spencer Mansion. That would be so cool. Honorable mention is Nest. I do think we're going to see Nest. Like I said earlier, if we go to Kendo Gun Shop and have to go to the Nest, that would make sense. But at the same time, I kind of don't want to see it, because I feel like that would just be them copying and pasting RE2 in a way. And if we do go there, I want it to be different. You know, I want it to be, maybe they could make it a little bit more grungy like the original RE2, you know, like all gray and distorted rather than this bright white. I would be okay with that. If we go back to Nest, though, I hope it's for a good reason. I don't want just a copy and paste of RE2, but we'll have to wait and see. So, Perez, funny you mentioned returning characters. That's going to be my next thing. So the top 5 returning characters I would love to see. At number 5 spot, I have Ashley Graham. I would love to get to see Ashley, considering that she kind of mentioned maybe being like an agent like Leon, and I don't think she's ever going to be an agent, but it will be cool to get to see her in some kind of professional capacity, maybe behind comms or something, which obviously that does seem to be Sherry Birkin, but it would be cool to kind of see Ashley step back in some way, even just for a quick cameo. The number 4 spot is Jill. I love Jill Valentine. She's my second favorite character. Leon being number 1, Hunk number 3. However, even though I would love to see Jill, I don't really think that she should fit into this game for several reasons. Because first of all, I know a lot of people were like, oh, but why is Leon getting the Raccoon City story? Well, because guys, his story began in Raccoon City. Jill's began in the mansion. Yes, she lived in Raccoon City, and yes, she went through a lot of hell, but that's what started Leon's story. Leon and Raccoon City are one and the same. There's a lot of parallels. They both are controlled by the government. They both were destroyed by Umbrella. They are both just old husks of themselves. There's so many parallels. And plus, Jill was infected and cured by the T-virus. So I'm not sure how this Raccoon City, what they call it, the Raccoon City syndrome is going to affect her, if at all. You know, we'll just have to wait and see. So the number 3 spot is Ada Wong. Um, it does sound weird to not have a Resident Evil game without Ada, but if she doesn't show up, I'm gonna be okay with it. I don't know. I would be all right with it in a lot of ways. Maybe RE4 remake was kind of alluding to it, and they were Leon says, "Time we go our separate ways." Maybe he meant permanently. Now granted, Resident Evil 6 still happens, and we get that kind of goodbye with them in a way, maybe like a reunion. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Even though I do like Ada, that doesn't come close to the number 2 spot for me, which is Claire Redfield. I feel like Claire needs to be a part of the story in some way, because her and Leon, again, their stories began there in Raccoon City. Claire, her story isn't as centered around Raccoon City because she was going there for Chris, and we see more of that in Code Veronica. I would argue Code Veronica is her story that really set up her character arc. Again, I'm not trying to be biased. I'm just thinking logically here. I do think that Resident Evil 2 is what really set up Leon's story, and it did technically Claire's in some way, but we'll see. The number 1 spot, though, is Oswell E. Spencer himself. So Spencer, I would be shocked if he's not in the game. I do think he's going to pop up in some way, shape, or form. And I'm going to show a video here in a little bit to kind of give you more reason why I think that. But I do think Spencer is going to show up, and I hope he does. I'm going to kind of be disappointed if he doesn't, so I'm trying to keep my expectations low, but I really, really, really want him to, and it would be perfect for him to show back up. Man, that would be sick. Perez says Barry Burton too is helicopter pilot like Brad Vickers. Yeah, I'd be down to see Barry again. I would love that. I love Barry Burton. Do I think he's going to show up? No, I don't. But it would be kind of cool if you get airlifted out with a helicopter, and he's the one that comes by and picks you up. Kind of like the ending that we could have got with the Resident Evil 3 remake, but we didn't get. A good idea, but I don't think he will. But plus, what happened with him and Natalia? The little demonic girl, whatever. Alex Wesker taking over her body. So it kind of makes me wonder what's Barry up to. But I would love to see Barry Burton, but I don't think he's going to show up though. I would love Resident Evil 10 to kind of be like this story, but with the Spencer Mansion and getting to see Chris, Jill, Rebecca, and Barry go back to the mansion. That would be sick, but I doubt it's going to happen. But I would love that. Let's see here. Top 5 returning monsters. So the number 5 spot are spiders. I think that going through the sewers again or something like that would be really creepy to have spiders everywhere now. That would really give it more of like a mutated, look. Seeing like normal animals and insects be affected somehow. And it would also kind of be a more or less apology for not having them in 2 and 3 remakes. The number 4 spot are liquors. I'm going to be shocked if the liquors do not return. I mean, I feel like it's almost guaranteed they're going to return. For sure. I do think they are. Let's see. At the number 3 spot would be William Birkin. I would love to see Birkin back in some capacity, but at the same time, I don't really know, because I feel like that bringing him back, yes, it would be fan servicing, and it would be cool to kind of see that he survived this long. And if Sherry is in the game, of course, it seems like she is. It'd be kind of heartbreaking for Leon to say, "Hey, man, your dad's been still crawling around here," But I don't know. We'll see. I do think Birkin could come back. I do think he could, but we'll just have to wait and see how that happens. The number 2 spot would be the Gravedigger from Resident Evil 3 remake. It would be a good time to bring that back. Again, the boss fight that we didn't get from that game, and having a giant worm and everything would kind of make sense. Again, if the T-virus or whatever has been affecting life around here, that would kind of go hand in hand with spiders, Number 1 spot, though, is Mr. X, which I would be insanely shocked if Mr. X is not in the game. I could see Umbrella sending in a tyrant to go and kill them since they're sneaking back into Raccoon City, And plus, they mentioned nostalgic monsters. I mean, Mr. X is so iconic now, the Resident Evil 2 remake. I mean, I'm going to be shocked if Mr. X does not come back in some way, shape, or form. And I really hope he does, because having a stalker enemy again like that would be very cool, especially like the creepy ruins of the RPD, you know. I do have two honorable mentions though. The first honorable mention are the Plaga type of zombies we get in the Resident Evil 3 remake. That would kind of be a cool callback to Resident Evil 4 remake, and Leon being like, "Oh man, not this again," you know. That would be kind of cool. Maybe he could even be like, "Oh man, Luis, you know, what did you do?" type of thing. And also Nemesis. So Nemesis is my favorite monster ever of any kind of media. I would love to see Nemesis back in some way. However, there's two reasons why I don't really know if it would make sense. First of all, Jill Valentine's not there. That's Jill's monster, not Leon or Grace's. But the second thing is, he uses a big wall of flesh in the remake, and in the original, you know, he just got turned into sludge basically. So I could see him maybe coming back, but I don't know how they're going to do it. And I do know I've heard some reviews, but were non-spoiler by the way, say there's a boss fight that shows back it's almost exact same as the original boss fight. So I do wonder if that's referring to Nemesis, considering he was just a big wall of flesh. But I don't know. And they did show Nemesis in the background of that Evil Lives Here short they did. And I kind of wonder, was that a hint? Is that alluding to something? I don't know. I feel like Nemesis could come back, but I would love to see it, admittedly, but I just don't know if it would logically make sense. I kind of got to put my bias aside there. So, to finish up with my wish list, these are the main things I want. Things I'm probably not going to get, but I would love to have. First thing, and this is kind of likely, is it would be so cool to see Marvin's dead body or see other people, again, like other skeleton laying there, you know. That would be just so haunting and sad. It would be very cool to get to see little things like that. But I would love to see a setup of Brendan Bailey and the connections as future antagonists. If this game is supposed to cap off and end the whole Umbrella saga, I think it would be smart to set up Bailey and the connections as the next Umbrella. You know, we've already seen a little bit of the setup, so I think it would be perfect to do so. And they mentioned Bailey in that, you know, History of Resident Evil video, which that's the video I was going to check out with you guys here in a second. And there's definitely something more there. So I feel like that setting him up would be perfect as the future antagonist. And I can see that happening. Hopefully it will. Because if not, I kind of wonder where they're going to go from here, you know? I just don't really know. Now, mercenaries. I would love to have the... Now, as of right now, again, the non-spoiler reviews have unfortunately said there is no mercenaries right now. But keep in mind, Mercenaries was not around when Resident Evil 4 remake came out. So I would love to get to see Mercenaries show up again. That would be amazing. I would absolutely love to see that. So we'll see. But hopefully we do get that. You know, is my stream messing up? Let me make sure. Okay, no, we're good. Anyhow, the next thing is a Hunk Fourth Survivor mode. It would be cool to see Hunk again, and it would be neat to see him do some kind of mission, you know. I don't think it'll happen, but hey, I would be down for it to see our boy Hunk back. Maybe have like a more noir type of emo look. It's kind of like what Chris and Leon have, you know. That would be very cool, but I digress. We'll see. The other thing though, and this is a big wish list, but I don't think this is going to happen. A DLC with Alyssa and the Outbreak survivors. I feel like that we're probably going to get an Outbreak remake before that happens, but you never know. It is possible. If we do get a DLC like that, though, I just don't know at that point if they would make an Outbreak remake, because at that point, what do? Do you just toss in that scenario at that game? You know, I don't know if it logically would make sense. I feel like Capcom would wait until they have a full-on remake of that game. But maybe they could even have a story of them after. Like if the 6 Raccoon City survivors who died, as mentioned in the trailer, are the outbreak survivors, maybe we can see them on a new adventure and see, maybe one of them dies in some horrible way. I mean, granted, it mentioned those 6 survivors seem to be the Raccoon City syndrome they talk about, but maybe we could see one of them pass away right there on the spot, and the list will be like, oh my gosh, we're all infected type of thing. I would love that, but I don't think we're going to get that, but I would love it. But we'll see soon. So, the next section I want to move on to are some questions I have. And there's a lot of them, actually. The first question I have in that last trailer is, what the heck are up with those demon-looking children? Was that a flashback to the Wesker children? Which I doubt, but I personally think, and I'm going to go more into this with my predictions, I think those children are part of the E series, like Evelyn from Resident Evil 7 and 8, the little girl. I think that's what that is. I think those are the connections, and Brendan Bailey experimenting on children, and those were the failed copies of Evelyn, or maybe better ones. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, they've mentioned several times psychological horror. What do they mean by that? Psychological horror? Are we going to see Leon hallucinate? Maybe we'll get to see like Luis or Krauser show up. I mean, the whole thing about Krauser is, he mentioned, before with Resident Evil 4 Remake that, look, the government screwed me over type of thing. So what if we see some parallels of that with Leon? Because the government has screwed him over too, except he went down a different path with Krauser, of course. Krauser, he turned evil. But, what if we get to see some hallucinations, kind of like ghosts haunting him from his past? I would love that, but I don't know if we're going to get it, but I would absolutely love it. The next thing are fallen comrades. They talk a lot about how the gun Requiem is in honor of Leon's fallen comrades. Who are they? What does that entail? I highly doubt it's going to be any of our main cast. I highly doubt they're going to kill Claire Redfield or anybody off screen. Although, never know. If anybody was going to die, I think it would be Claire, considering that would probably hurt him the most. And, the angel wing and everything on the gun and the watch. But I just think that would be too risky, and that would make fans way too angry. But still, fallen comrades. What is that? Did Hunnigan die? Did something happen after Resident Evil 6 and Hunnigan got murked? I don't know. Also, they talked about the past of Leon. Something about Leon's past be brought up. Now, what do they mean by that? Do they mean like his past in general, or something from his past we do not know about? I made a video a long time ago. Well, I say a long time ago, a month or two ago. What if we look at Leon's childhood? Because a lot of people don't know this, but he was an orphan. His parents died when he was a child. And we've seen a theme of Umbrella, tinkering with children, especially in these remakes, like Resident Evil 2 remake with the orphanage and Sherry. And these children in this game, Evelyn and Resident Evil 7. What if Leon was experimented with or on as a child, and maybe they brainwashed him and he can't remember it, or he didn't even know about it? I'm just curious, like what that means. I'm just very interested to see what they mean by his past. The other thing is Elpis itself. Elpis, is that a cure or is it an infection? In the trailers, Victor says to Grace, through you, Elpis can finally be set free. I highly doubt that he would want that to be a good thing. And if he did want it to be a good thing, I'm sure Grace would comply. So what does that mean? I personally feel like Elpis is something in Grace's blood, maybe, that can complete the T-virus and, maybe actually give somebody immortality. Because the T-virus has always made people zombies. And I feel like Elpis may be the final ingredient. And that's going to lead into something with my prediction here in a little bit. The next thing is, they've mentioned that the game could be continued some after it's done, but what does that mean? I'm pretty sure they mentioned that in the interview, which I don't get because, again, we've had confirmation there are no mercenaries right now. And I kind of figure maybe we'll get like a mercenary mode that kind of makes it to the story, perhaps like maybe you play as soldiers or something in Raccoon City. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm very curious what they mean by that. The next thing is Grace. What's up with Grace? Is she a clone? Like, why is it Grace is the key to all of this? You know? Is Alyssa actually her mom, or is she a test tube baby? What's up with Grace? Obviously, there's something very strange here. A lot of people have mentioned the daylight vaccine from Outbreak, but I don't think they're going to do that much of a deep cut, to be honest with you. I just feel like that they're not going to bring that up because that's kind of more of an obscure, deep lore thing that us hardcore fans know about. But I don't think they're going to touch on that, personally. It'd be cool, but I don't think they will. And it seems more like, with this little girl, you know, Emily in the trailer and these children, what if Grace was a child and Alyssa saved her and kind of took her in as her own? You know, we see in the gameplay before that was revealed that Alyssa tells Grace, you'll understand someday this, that, and the other. You are my hope. So why is she her hope? Does she just mean like, you're my daughter, I love you? Or what does that mean? Because if Alyssa knew that she was going to have Raccoon City syndrome, maybe she literally meant like, look, you are my hope because there's something with you that could save me someday. I think we're going toward that direction. I think Alyssa was finding out that she was getting sick. So was everybody else from Raccoon City, but I don't know. That's it for my questions that I can think of, at least. I know Victor Gideon, I'm kind of wondering like who his master is. Again, I'm going to be very, very shocked if it is not Spencer, or at the very least Bailey, but my money's on Spencer. That leads me to predictions. So the first one is the Raccoon City survivors, the dead ones, the 6 that died that Leon mentions in the last trailer. I feel like are the Outbreak characters. We had 8 characters in Outbreak. Alyssa, one of them, she's dead. She didn't die from the Raccoon City syndrome. She got murdered. That leaves 7. The 7th one I feel like we may see alive, and I think it's Mark. I made a video about this too, but I think Mark, because with the mobile game they just came out with, Survival Unit, why is Mark the other Outbreak character to play as? There's Mark and then there's Alyssa. Why didn't they choose Kevin? They know Kevin's one of the most popular ones, if not the most popular from that game. And in the very first trailer, we hear some old-sounding man's, or at least it kind of sounds like an old man to me. It says, have you seen the same shit I've seen? I feel like we're going to see Mark. I do think we could. If any of the Outbreak characters are going to come back, I feel like it's going to be Mark. Well, besides Alyssa. The next thing is Spencer and Bailey are definitely involved. And again, I'm going to go over more of this in that video I'm going to showcase here in a second. So just hang on for that one. I do think that the live action stuff from the He Who Lives Her short, which shows Mikhail, Murphy, and Nemesis, and of course that grave where that poor little girl died, I think they could return. And I already kind of went over Nemesis some, and I think it's very strange they showed him. Of course, that could have just been a cool little Easter egg. But I don't know. They've shown Mikhail and Murphy. What if we see their dead bodies? But that would be very cool. And that little girl's grave, I kind of feel like that we could just walk throughout Raccoon City and find that as a little Easter egg. That would be kind of cool. I would love that. That would tie into that live action video perfectly. And really just add more weight to the game, The next thing is Leon retiring. I do think Leon's going to retire in this game. Do I think Leon's going to die? No. If there are alternate endings, I could see him dying in one of them as a bad ending, but I do think that in the canon ending, if there is one or whatever, I do think that Leon is going to retire. I think that he's going to finally be like, okay, I've gotten peace. I've done all I can. It's time for me to just retire, pass the torch to Grace, and call it a day. Maybe he goes and lives with Ada. Maybe he has a child, which I highly doubt. But, that would be kind of beautiful if you do end up seeing him with a child. But I don't think that's going to happen. Unless he takes that little girl. What if he takes that little girl, Emily, and kind of adopts her as his own child? It's not the first time we've seen a character do that. I mean, Barry did that with Natalia. I think that would be great. I would love that. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I do think Leon's going to get a peaceful ending, and this is going to be his send-off. The next thing is Claire. I do think Claire will return. I don't think she's going to be a playable character or nothing like that, but I do think that she will show up in some capacity. Because again, she's part of Leon's story, and I mean, she has a City syndrome too, I'm sure. So she has to show up in some way. Maybe she'll show up sick. Call Leon, like, dude, I'm not feeling good, and Leon has to go and save Claire also. I do think Claire will show up in a cameo some way, especially since Code Veronica is apparently coming out next year. Should be revealed this year, hopefully. I think that would be a good way to kind of warm people up to Claire again and to see her return. The next thing is kind of a minor thing, but I do think the RPD outfit's going to return. And I mentioned that because I made a video about this, but there was an interview where the producer, director, I can't remember which, said that Leon is going to be wearing armor, and I think they even said familiar armor. So the only familiar armor I could think of would be, well, the RPD outfit. Maybe we'll see him toss on some gear in the RPD. I could definitely see that happening, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I would be surprised. I mean, we've already got the RE4 outfit. Come on, man, you got to give us the RPD outfit. I think it'll be like RE4 remake, where it'll be like an unlockable, not just like a DLC. But or like I said, maybe he wears it in story, and then you can wear it afterwards. But that's my prediction. But we'll see. The last thing, actually, no, it may not be the last thing. No, it's not. Oh wait, actually, no. Yes. This is my last prediction. Um, and I think Emily, the little girl, is part of the E series. So the E series is kind of remind people. In Resident Evil 7, we have Mia and the Connections. You know, she's working for the Connections. They were trying to make Evelyn, this little girl, for a bioweapon. Mia, again, is a piece of crap. She's a freaking terrorist. Anyways, I do think that Emily is part of this. I think it's kind of coincidental that her name is Emily, starts with an E. And we see all these children in the trailer, and they've talked about Brandon Bailey again in that video we're about to watch. And this would be a good way to tie it into 7 and 8. I do think that Emily is either a perfected version of Evelyn from Resident Evil 7/8, or again, maybe a old copy. Or not maybe a copy, but like an old version. And I know in the demo it mentioned like E and then redacted stuff, so I do think that maybe that could be part of the E series. I would be shocked if we don't see that pop up in some way. I don't think those little kids are the Wesker children. That would be pretty cool. That would be amazing. But I don't think that's the case. I do think it's probably Brandon Bailey and the Connections in the E series. So that's it, guys. That's all my predictions, my wants, my wishes. I can't really quite think of anything else, other than like, I mean, I would love to have more merch. That would be cool, but we're not gonna be getting that because Capcom doesn't like to make really affordable and cool merchandise. I can't wait to have the amiibos. Hopefully they're not gonna be too expensive, and you know, it's gonna be very cool. So the reason I wanted to get Requiem on the Switch too, because I just love the idea of amiibos. I'm new to this, and that's so cool to me. You can get like a little figurine and touch it to your console and it does something. And we're gonna be getting exclusive like skins and stuff. So I love that. I'm very, very excited for the Grace and Leon amiibo. The statues, I'm not touching those. Way too expensive. I'm gonna wait for the Ally Express versions, and hopefully they're good. You know, like I'm cool with that, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Anyhow, see RWK88, what's up, buddy? Rectium, yeah, Resident Evil Rectium, nice name. So let's switch over to another tab, and we're gonna look up that video. We're gonna watch it together, and I'm gonna probably pause and talk about it a few times. Let's see. Wow, I'm already seeing a guide from Neon Slice. Neon Slice is a really good YouTuber that has great guides, by the way. But he already has a guide. That wow, impressive. Anyhow, let's look this up. See if I can find it. No, it's not that. What's it called? I think it was called Road to Requiem. Yeah, here it is. Okay, we're gonna pause this music here. And we're gonna play this video.
Will be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S.
Now let's rewind this real quick. Let me also change this. There we go. I'm gonna shrink myself, make myself a little bit smaller. And we're gonna watch this together.
Welcome, and thank you for joining. I'm your host, Maggie Robertson. Today, we're giving you a briefing on all things Resident Evil, including a look back on its terrifying legacy, so you can be prepared to take on the series' latest installment, Resident Evil Requiem, releasing February 27th, 2026. I'm also thrilled to announce that pre-orders for Resident Evil Requiem begin today. Are you ready for the horrors ahead? To prepare you for Resident Evil Requiem, we've created a special recap. A look back at how we got here, the legendary characters, the unforgettable terrors, and the chilling details that may be important to remember as you continue to venture into the nightmare that awaits.
So see, that may be important to remember. So everything in here, obviously, they want you to remember. They want you people to know.
So let's begin.
I mean, obviously.
With the events leading up to the 1998 Raccoon City incident. Many years prior, a group of researchers discovered the progenitor virus in Africa. Among these researchers was Oswell E. Spencer, a man of immense wealth and influence. Together, they founded the Umbrella Corporation, which on the surface seemed like an ordinary pharmaceutical company. But Umbrella's true purpose, driven by Spencer's ambition to reshape humanity, was to advance virus research and bioweapons development. Many years later,
they go into pretty good detail about Spencer and his past. Why would they do that? They could have just said, you know, Umbrella was founded by Spencer, a few other people, and it was a bad company. But they specifically go over Spencer. They don't go over the other founders. They just go over Spencer specifically.
One of Spencer's collaborators, James Marcus, would successfully develop the T virus.
And James.
However, in 1998, the virus leaked from a research facility in Raccoon City.
And James, I think they only mentioned him because, again, he was part of the T-Virus. But they could have mentioned James Marcus because, well, two reasons. Number one, Resident Evil 0 remake. That's supposed to be coming out here, I think, in 2 years. Year after next, I think. So 2028, allegedly. But also because Brendan Bailey and Marcus were pretty good buddies. And I do think Bailey is going to be part of this. So I feel like Marcus is probably going to be brought up once or twice, but obviously not as important as Spencer. Anyways, let's move on.
Located in the American Midwest, the virus spread throughout the city, triggering an unprecedented pandemic and mutating its residents into flesh-eating zombies.
It made them evil.
Only the bravest souls were fearless enough to fight the infected and the monster's bioweapons born from the T-virus. Rookie cop Leon S. Kennedy, college student Claire Redfield, STARS agent Jill Valentine, and a handful of others were able to prevail and eventually flee the city. Fearing further spread, the U.S. government launched a sterilization operation, destroying Raccoon City. The Umbrella Corporation eventually went bankrupt due to the mounting evidence brought to light. However, its legacy lives on. And as for the survivors, their story was just beginning. Some, like Raccoon City journalist Alyssa Ashcroft, sought to expose Umbrella's darkest secrets. Some hunted the bioterrorists who weaponized Umbrella's research. Others set out to unveil the real truth behind the government's sterilization operation. The aftershocks of the Raccoon City incident would be felt for decades to come, and coincide with other increasingly frequent bioweapon-related outbreaks. Caught up in one such bioweapon-related tragedy was an ordinary man by the name of Ethan Winters. Ethan was searching for his missing wife, Mia. Following an anonymous email, he finds himself in the bowels of the bayou at the Baker estate, where he's greeted by a deranged family infected by a horrifying ailment. Ethan fought to escape their madness and rescue his wife. 3 years later, Ethan would face a new nightmare. This time, his baby daughter Rose is taken away by Chris Redfield, the legendary hero who survived countless bioterror incidents. Ethan's quest to rescue his daughter led him to a mysterious, treacherous village ruled by Mother Miranda and the Four Lords. Like the Baker family, the village residents were turned into nightmarish creatures. And those four powerful lords, well, one of them was more powerful and stunning than the others. What a goddess. Oh, my apologies. Now, where was I? Mother Miranda, who shares a deep connection with Umbrella founder Oswell E. Spencer.
See, there you go,
played
Mitch
a
Spencer
key
again.
role behind the village incident. Separately, it was revealed that an insidious force known simply as the Connections was operating from the shadows and also played a key role in the incident. To this day, little is known about the Connections. Ethan Winters' terrifying two-part tale was as chilling as it was exhilarating. An immersive horror experience witnessed from Resident Evil's first ever first-person perspective. Both titles will be available in the content-rich Gold Edition for Nintendo Switch 2
Heck yeah, I
on
can't wait for
February
that.
27th,
That's what I'm talking about.
2026. They'll feature post-story scenarios and extra game modes.
Think about
Resident
chat
Evil
one second,
Village
guys.
will also include a third-person gameplay option. And if February 27th sounds familiar, it's because it is. These two terrifying titles are releasing the same day as Resident Evil Requiem, the series' newest, most chilling installment, where you'll play FBI analyst
think that's
Grace
about
Ashcroft
it.
as she confronts her behind the Raccoon City incident. Prepare yourself for a new chapter of Resident Evil and a story that pushes the series forward, using gameplay that has evolved.
Let's get for all that.
Soon, you'll be able to flaunt your Resident Evil fandom in Fortnite. When you purchase Resident Evil launches,
Well,
more details to
Fortnite.
come. But for those of you that simply cannot wait to jump back into the world of Resident Evil, you're in luck. We've severed the price on multiple
Skip
While our
that
time
promo
today
stuff.
has come to an end, we hope to see you again very soon during the Resident Evil Showcase early next year, where we'll descend even deeper into all things Resident Evil Requiem. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, so that's about it. But like I said, they mentioned Spencer like several times. They mentioned Bailey, and they mentioned a lot of things, like So that's what I'm saying. I think that Spencer's definitely gonna be part of this. I hope he shows up, but if he doesn't, I do think he's gonna be a big part of the story. He kind of has to be if they're ending Umbrella. I mean, Spencer started Umbrella, you know. But the lore tie-in of Spencer at the end of Village, I do think was another reason why they were kind of preparing us for Requiem. But we'll just have to wait and see. Anyhow, before we cap this off, guys, we're gonna check up on the comments right quick. Mandalorian Martin 7526, how you doing, buddy? Says trying RE0, it's super hard. Still stuck on the train too. I need a remake for that game. Yeah, man, I do agree. Well, hopefully we do get a remake. Zero and Code Veronica are two of the hardest. And like I said, if you're not used to fixed camera angles, like how we were talking about the other night, man, skip Zero. Do not start with Zero. Start with the original two, then maybe three, and then one remake. One remake, it's great, but it's a very, very big game. So, you're going to do a lot of backtracking and puzzle solving in that game. Me, I'm used to it. I know where everything is, I know the route to go, but on your first try, you're going to be playing that game for a while. So, but Zero, yeah, man, I would not start with Zero. It's a rough game. RWK88 says, did you get Requiem digital? No. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I got it physically. I got the Resident Evil 7, 8, and 9 pack. I will be getting it from GameStop tomorrow. And then I'll have the controller delivered sometime tomorrow. So, Cooler 1991. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing, bud? Rock on to you too, man. Good to see you here. Anyhow, guys, I'm probably gonna cap it off here. We've been going for about 46 minutes, give or take, and I don't really have too much else to say. I kind of went over everything, like my wishes, my thoughts, everything like that. Um, but we'll just have to wait and see how all this turns out tomorrow. I am so excited. I will say though, it sucks. I did get a few things spoiled for me. Uh, and it makes me so mad. People are just pricks, man. But anyways, yeah, I'm super super excited. I will say, unfortunately, there are a few things on this piece of paper right here. I already know the answer to. Nothing too big, just a few minor things. But I didn't spoil it. I promise. I stuck to my paper, and I stuck to what I was wishing and hoping for before. There's only like one or maybe only like two things, maybe only one really I know about, and it's just a very very minor thing. But people suck, man. But I'm excited to see you guys tomorrow. If you want to stop by, if not, I completely understand, man. Go play Requiem, enjoy it. Stay away. I will say, stay away from online right now. Today is the worst day for spoilers. Stay away from social media, including Facebook. Facebook is not safe. The official Resident Evil page is not safe. People are posting pictures of stuff in the comments just to be douchebags. So, oh man. RWK88 says I ordered deluxe edition from GameStop also. Nice. Did you get the 3 pack or just Requiem? Night, bro. Night, buddy. Minori Martin 7526 says I need a RE0 remake because I couldn't get the hook shot. Yeah, dude. Like I said, Zero remake. It sucks. Or Zero, it sucks. It's such a rough game. But yeah, man, I'm so excited. 3 years, guys. We've been waiting 3 years, and this is gonna be something special. This is gonna be something very, very, very special. I hope the game delivers. I do know a lot of people said that the ending of the game, like the last section, is kind of underwhelming. Not the ending, but I'm saying like the last section, which, to be honest, most Resident Evil games ending section is kind of underwhelming in my opinion. But we'll wait and see. But I do know they said there's a lot of surprises. I know Susie Hunter was saying, in the Sphere Hunter on YouTube was saying there's a few things that she told us there's like no way that we believe her. So that has me very, very excited. Very, very, very excited. Cooler 1991 says someone speedrun RE9 already. That does not surprise me in the slightest. RWK88 says just Rectium. Nice. I should have went digital and went to New Zealand today. LOL. Yeah, but I can wait. I mean, I work today anyway, so I had a few things I had to do around the house and a few things I still need to go do. So I'm okay with that. I'm gonna hit the hay and just wake up tomorrow and go get it. I can wait, and I think it's better just to wait physically. So it's worth the wait to me. But anyhow, guys, I will catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm so excited. Again, guys, stay offline. Be careful. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a blessed night, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.